Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Career Connection Chats, where you state the career and we make the connection. As always, I'm your host, Seth Lawrence, Delaware Military Academy class of 2022. I always love to say that. And welcome to Season 2, Law Enforcement. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2, Law Enforcement. With us today, we have the Director of Public Safety for Newcastle County and former Chief of Police and first African-American Chief of Police of Newcastle County Police, Vaughn Bond. But why have me tell you about Vaughn Bond when you can watch a video of him accepting his promotion as the first African-American Chief of Police and sentiments from Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer when he received his promotion from Chief of Police to Director of Public Safety?
There's something special about this promotion. I have two phones, and both of my phones were going off the hook, text messages, emails, and a lot of people who I've had the opportunity to learn from over the years were calling me and congratulating me, and I really felt humbled by the whole experience itself, and I feel a sense of pride for everyone else. Not necessarily for me, but everyone who had their hand in helping me to get to where I am. The calls I made was to my wife because she wasn't there, and then my parents, because they played a big role in raising me and my sister, and just to say thank you to them.
We have a proclamation for Mr. Vaughn. We spend a lot of time in my office working with county council to make sure that the women and men have the equipment that they need, have the best uniforms, are working in the best facilities, have the best cars, have the best training. We do a great job recruiting. But really, when it comes down to it, the success of this agency, of this police department, really depends on one thing, and that's the people. The people who make up the 415 sworn officers of the Newcastle County Police. And today, I think we all know we're here to honor someone who spent 3 decades with his family's support, loving support, working for all of us, ultimately achieving leadership positions that set a trend and set a new vision for what this county police can be after over 100 years. So I just wanted to quickly read something from the people of Newcastle County to Vaughn Bond Jr. Whereas Vaughn Bond Jr. graduated from Delaware State University, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology, which later became very important. He is also a graduate of the New Jersey Chiefs of Police Command and Leadership Program and a graduate of the Senior Management Institute of Police. And whereas Colonel Vaughn began his career with the Newcastle County Police in December 1991, following graduation from Delaware State University. In his previous roles, Vaughn was assigned to the Patrol Division as an officer, sergeant, and lieutenant. Prior, he was assigned to the Criminal Investigation Squad as a detective, where he served in the Drug Control Squad, Family Services Squad, and Person Squad. And whereas Colonel Vaughn was promoted to captain in 2010 and was assigned as the Special Operations Section Commander and later the Patrol Section Commander, in 2014 he was promoted to Major. And whereas in 2016, County Executive Gordon promoted Vaughn to Lieutenant Colonel, the second highest rank an officer can achieve in the Newcastle County Police Department, and at the time the highest rank ever held by an African American officer in the department's 208-year history. And whereas Vaughn was named Chief of Police in 2017, the first African American to hold this position, in this role, Colonel Vaughn oversaw the state's second largest police force. And whereas Colonel Vaughn appointed the first female lieutenant colonel in the history of the Newcastle County Police Department, Lieutenant Colonel Wendy Feaser. And whereas Vaughn led our county to historic accomplishments in recruitment, running a police academy every year of his tenure, in community policing, in case clearance rates, in mental health, and substance use treatment, and in public safety overall. And whereas in 2021, Colonel Vaughn was nominated to be the new Public Safety Director. In his new role, he will oversee police, emergency medical services, emergency communications, and the Office of Emergency Management. And whereas during his career, Vaughn received numerous letters of commendation, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Award, and the 1997 Crime Stoppers Detector of the Year Award. And now therefore I, as County Executive, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the people of this county, do hereby proclaim today, September 30th, 2021, as Vaughn Bond Jr. Day in Newcastle.
Can you look at that camera right there, please?
That means everybody can go home and have a drink.
That's right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season 2, episode 2 of Career Connection Chat. With me today is Director Vaughn of Newcastle County Public Safety and former Chief of Police, first African American Chief of Police. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well, Seth. I'm doing well.
Thank you for today. I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to get out of your way, and I'm going to let you do the interview. Now, could you start off with who you are and where you got to, and how you got to where you are now?
Well, real quick, I guess who I am. My name is Vaughn Bond. I currently serve as Director of Public Safety for Newcastle County. Prior to that, I served nearly 30 years with Newcastle County Division of Police. Was very fortunate to rise through the ranks, and my final rank was the Chief of Police for Newcastle County from 2017 up until September 30th of 2021. I was born in Virginia, but came to Delaware at a very early age. So you could basically say I was raised in Delaware. Graduated from Glasgow High School back in 1986. Went to Norfolk State University for 1 year, and came back up here to Delaware State College at that time, where I pursued a degree in psychology and graduated in 1991. In May of 1991, and then joined the police department in December of 1991.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then, just to put it in perspective for our listeners, in case you didn't hear him the first time, he was the first African American Chief of Police in Newcastle County police history, which has been around for about 230 years or so.
Yes, sir.
Which is such a huge accomplishment, put at that. So, yeah. Kudos to you. But what characteristics would make a good person in this career period, both as a director and both as Chief of Police?
I think what makes a good person, the qualities, I think it really comes down, it's not that complex. It's being a good person, having a caring heart, someone who's able to show empathy, compassion, and have a willingness to want to serve others. Those are the main characteristics. A lot of times people get focused on, with police officers, that you have to be strong, you have to be physically fit, and those things are important. However, the majority of the time as a public servant, whether you're a police officer, paramedic, or emergency communications call taker or dispatcher, it comes down to being able to relate to people during a difficult time and crisis in their life. Being able to provide them resources that will help them in whatever situation that they're dealing with. And so I would say that those are the main characteristics or qualities that we would look for, or that I think will make for a successful person who's a first responder.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. Mac, what were some of your favorite things to do in this career, as well as when you were Chief of Police?
Well, I would say I'll start with Chief of Police. The most rewarding part of being Chief of Police was seeing the good work that was done by the police department. During my time as chief, we had a tremendous focus on community policing. We've always been a community policing oriented police department, but one of the things that I wanted to do during my tenure was to re-emphasize community policing. I think that it's vitally important that officers, when they come here, that they live up to what they often say in their interviews, that they want to make a difference in the community. And so the challenge for myself and for the command staff at that time was come up with various ways that you can improve our relationship and our delivery of service in the communities. And so during the time that I served as chief of police, we expanded upon the Hero Help program, which was a substance abuse program that was started under the former Colonel Elmer Setting. And we built on that with my background being in psychology, my degree being in psychology, and understanding how mental health played a significant role in many of the calls for service that we go to. We developed the first in the state to have a police department that had a mental health professional assigned to an officer. And we've now, since through the success we've had and through our partnerships at the federal, state levels, we've now grown that into a behavioral health unit where we combine both our Hero Health program and our mental health component to create the behavioral health unit, which has been tremendously successful in changing lives and helping people who are in need. You know, we've had countless programs, whether it be the first ever Police and Princess Ball, which we held back in the first time Corporal Tracy Duffy approached me with that idea of having a group of young ladies, young kids from a community in North Wilmington team up with the police departments and law enforcement. And we went to the waterfalls and we had a ball. And we did that for a number of years until COVID hit, and then we had to go virtually with it. But a tremendous success, made a big difference, whether it be the mobile PAL play zone. One of the officers said, listen, not every kid can get to the PAL. And so there's some communities where transportation is a challenge. And so we had an officer ask us, could we get items and can we take the PAL to these neighborhoods? And we've been doing that now for a number of years. And when we first did it, it was a shock to a lot of communities because they seen the police coming in there and shutting off roads and setting up, basketball courts. We had the mounted patrol out there. We had Nico, our companion dog, out there along with other activities. And people were shocked about what was going on. But those were the things that I was most proud of from a community policing standpoint. I was also proud of the work that we did to investigate crimes. Crime is what we do as a police department. 1 year I think we had the lowest number of homicides on record. Unfortunately, it picked up, but we did a very good job, I think, with dealing with major crimes that took place and being able to solve them and provide answers to a lot of families. And so those are just a few of the things that I've been extremely proud of, extremely rewarding when I would get stopped by just people. I could be in a grocery store or a pharmacy or someplace, and people will recognize me and ask me, if I were the chief. And sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, what are they going to say? And oftentimes it was nothing but praise for the members of this division of police. So.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, when I go to like parades and other like public events, I see Newcastle County there. I always see the mounted police, and I always love seeing the horses, and I always love seeing how the kids are truly engaged with the police officers there. And that's not something you see often in other communities where the police are so engaged with kids and even adults in the community. And I think that's just a fantastic initiative, and it shows that it shows community engagement in policing, and I think that's fantastic.
And it continues on. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had the police and all of the division, Department of Public Safety was involved in it, but it was spearheaded by Officer Cliff Allen, who's assigned to basically like a foot patrol in the community of Sparrow Run. And they had an idea of bringing in a skating rink to the community, along with food, music, and activities for the community. And I said, a skating rink, and I'm like, how is that going to work? And they explained to me, and we got the approval. And I tell you, I have the video of it. This company came out. They set up on a basketball court. They put down the flooring for a skating rink. They had all the skates there, and the kids, young and old, were out there and enjoying it, and it was a great time. And as the police department always said, and for Department of Public Safety, it's about making deposits into the Bank of Community Trust. Because you have to make those deposits, because sooner or later we might have a situation that's controversial, and what you want to do is you want to have people who say, well, they made deposits and they are willing to, not jump to conclusions, but give you the opportunity to investigate, to ascertain what took place before forming an opinion whether or not the actions of the person was right or wrong.
Now, I gotta ask, what were some of your least favorite things to do in both careers?
I think my least favorite things were to hear about the insensitivity of mankind, to see some of the tragedies, whether they're intentional tragedies, such as someone taking someone's life, or accidents where someone has lost their life. Those were always the most difficult for me, and they weigh heavily on you as a person in the Department of Public Safety. Doesn't matter if you're with the paramedics, emergency management, emergency communication, the police. Those events weigh heavily on you, and those were always the more difficult moments. And of course, the most tragic event for Newcastle County in recent years was the passing of Joe Zerber, Lieutenant Joe Zerber, who was killed in the line of duty. And so that was, the most difficult moment that we faced in recent years. And we had the loss of Paul Sweeney that occurred before me, before any of us were here on this police department. And so while we understand and it hurts that he lost his life, many of us had a personal relationship with Joe, which made it more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that there's a memorial 5K now, and the training building was named after him, and I think that's fantastic. And I know a lot of county police officers that had a personal relationship with him, and they've shared stories about their interactions with him, and it's always been positive, amazing things, amazing stories to tell. So,
yes,
great man. Now, what is some of the day-to-day routines for someone holding the position of Director of Public Safety and Chief of Police?
Well, I tell you, I start with Director of Public Safety. I can tell you that for me, it involves daily communication with the chief of each division. I speak often with the Chief of Police, Chief of Communication, Chief of Emergency EMS, Emergency Medical Services, and also interact a lot with the coordinator, Dave Carpenter, of our emergency management. And right now, our focus has been a lot on recruiting and retention here within the Department of Public Safety. We're just like what we're seeing across the country, that we are not seeing the applicant numbers like we did in years past. There's a lot of people who are hesitant to want to join in and become a first responder. And so we're dealing right now with how do we make this profession, Department of Public Safety, Newcastle County, more attractive to young people to say, okay, I want to join and be a part of that. And so we're looking at creative ways, and we've been, in terms of recruitment, if you go out now, you can see in various areas, we had the billboards up. We're planning another open house. It's probably going to be in September. We've had a couple of those, and we've had them here where we have the entire Department of Public Safety here, along with members from each division, to answer questions and talk a little bit about what they do. Some of our specialty units will be on hand. And it's going to be, this time we're going to take it probably into the community, go to a park, and then bring out some of the equipment and encourage people to come down and take a look at it and see. I tell people all the time that if you would ask me when I left from Delaware State, would I be a police officer? And the answer was probably not. I became interested in it because I had two of my fraternity brothers that were Delaware State troopers. And at that point there, I started thinking about that as a possible career option for me. And I tell you, it was the best decision I can make. It was a very rewarding career, with one of the few careers where you can do 20 years of service and receive a full pension. And for the years that you stay after 20 years, you build onto your pension, which gives you some security that a lot of places nowadays don't offer. We talk about benefits, health care, we talk about leave, vacation time and sick time. Those are benefits that a lot of companies don't offer any longer. And so those are from a personal standpoint, but from a professional standpoint, being a first responder, working in public safety, it gives you a platform to really make a difference. I mean, to go out there, when you say that you're a paramedic or you say that you're a part of emergency communications or police or emergency management, and we are trying to assist with this endeavor, doors open up for you. And as I used to tell a lot of the officers is that, much like an NFL player has a platform, we have a platform. And so it's up to us to utilize that platform to do good for other people. One of the things that we did a few years back was raising funds for breast cancer and making people aware of cancer. We sold patches. I have some patches over there, and we donated money to the Helen Graham Center. And we've done autism. We've done a lot of different programs that we use the platform that we have in public safety to better the lives of others.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. You guys hold different hats. Even people just see police officers as like, oh, people are coming to arrest you, but they don't. But in here, you see police officers are those walking on the sidewalks, talking, engaging the community, doing fundraisers, helping out the community and all that. And I think that's just a fantastic initiative from Newcastle County. Now, not a lot of people know about what the life of a police officer is, or the chief of police or public safety, but they do watch TV and they do watch movies. So what would you think is the most accurate law enforcement TV show or movie?
I think the most accurate TV show is The First 48. As a matter of fact, I think it may have been too revealing at times, but that was a show that I thought was very accurate, and it was real. What they showed you was the painstaking efforts to investigate homicide investigations or homicide cases. Many years ago, I was a homicide detective for Newcastle County, and so I know firsthand how much work goes into that. And what I liked about that show was it was real. There wasn't anything that was scripted. They showed you how difficult it is. Like I said, the amount of work that goes into it. They showed you the need for community involvement and community assistance. We're in a day and age where people think that DNA solves every case, and DNA does play a significant role. However, it's not present in every single case. And so you have to rely on other investigative information in order to bring those cases to a successful conclusion. And what it also showed you was that while they said the first 48, those are the critical hours, but what they also showed you was that sometimes those investigations go on for years at a time, and before they're actually solved. And unfortunately, some of those cases will go beyond that, and they're not solved, for a number of years, and in some cases not solved at all. But I would say out of all the shows that are on TV, and I don't think I think it's just in syndication now. I think it's something like that. But out of all the shows that I watched, that's the most realistic one.
Absolutely. I have to watch it now. Viewers, if you're interested, watch the show, see what it's about. Now this program is about mentoring, connecting people with potential mentors, and keeping that mentorship ideology alive. Who was your mentor, and what was one of the best lessons they taught you?
Well, I've been very, very fortunate. I've had a lot of mentors over the years. I've had the opportunity to work for some really good supervisors. And I would say that if I had to select one person who was a mentor to not just me, but to many people, I definitely would say that it was a man by the name of Joseph Bryant Jr., as his full name. I would say that without a doubt, he was a mentor, and had it not been for him, I don't think that I would have been chief of police, and I probably would not be sitting in this chair right now as director of public safety. He has played a critical role for me and countless other officers in law enforcement. He retired from our police department several years ago as a major. At that time, he was the second highest rank on the police department. And then he went to work at Delaware River and Bay Authority as a civilian, and then he became the chief of police over there for a few years. But he was a person who had the ability to really bring out the best in you by challenging you, and very supportive. And I think that it wasn't just me at the time. After he retired as the chief of police in Delaware River and Bay, he actually was asked by Tom Gordon to come back here to Newcastle County, and he served and sat at this very desk as the director of public safety several years ago for a period of time. And during his time, he was responsible for not only me becoming chief of police here in Newcastle County, but he played a role in, at that time, Chief Bobby Cummings from Wilmington Police Department, Colonel Nate McQueen from the Delaware State Police, and also Perry Phelps, who was the Department of Corrections Commissioner. He played a significant role in all of us being in the positions that we're in. As you can see over there, there's a picture of all of us with the exception of Nate McQueen together. And that's a picture that I cherish, and I'm very grateful for Joe Bryant and all that he's done. And he goes beyond just us. When we talk about students at Delaware State, with our Noble program. Noble is a national organization of Black law enforcement executives. He was our president for a number of years, and we started a student chapter at Delaware State. We were the first. Noble is throughout the country. It's international. And so we were the first chapter to start a collegiate chapter. And we are very proud because we had several students who went to Delaware State that are now serving in law enforcement. And a lot of that is due in part to the work of Joe Bryant.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think mentorship is a very important aspect, especially in young people, especially now. The young people really need a strong mentor in their life. And you've been my mentor since 2017. Fame. I was in seventh grade in Fame, sitting down. They're talking about, a guest speaker coming in, chief of police in Newcastle County, new first African American. I was like, okay, whatever. Seventh grader. Wasn't thinking. I sat there and listened to you spiel about what it was like to kind of break history and what it was like to kind of be a police officer. And at that moment, I was like, this guy is someone I want to be. I saw someone who looked like me in a high position with like an eagle on their collar, and like someone I was like, wow, this guy's a pretty high person. And ever since then, I always wanted to I always like keep up to date. So what is he doing now? And I was years on, I see you throughout DMA at all our DMA events and all that, and it was just kind of great. And it felt great for me to know that you were watching me kind of grow into the person I am now, being a man of Morehouse and DMA alumni now. I couldn't have got that diploma without you. You definitely have a lot of issues I had in high school, and a lot of the different problems I had. So I definitely think mentorship is an important aspect of a young person's life and who it makes them who they are now.
Yeah.
So what is like one of your biggest plans or projects you have right now for Newcastle County?
Well, for Newcastle County, for all of public safety, I think the largest project that we have going on through the support of state state officials as well as the federal government, the local, the county executive, the chief administrative officer Vanessa Phillips, the county executive Matt Meyer. We are in the process now, and thanks to Senator Coons and Carper, Lisa Blunt Rochester, they've all been very instrumental in helping us to plan and build the first emergency vehicle operators course. The county has several acres off of Route 9 in Newcastle, and we just had a press conference and the groundbreaking to build this emergency vehicle operators course, which will allow for all of public safety to train on operating police vehicles, paramedic vehicles. Our communications division has some vehicles, RV type vehicles, where they can take communication out onto a scene. And so it would teach us how to safely operate those vehicles. You know, ever since I've been with Newcastle County, we've never had a place that was dedicated to first responders to actually do this type of training. And as we all know, from a police standpoint, more officers are killed in the line of duty by vehicle accidents or seriously injured as a result of vehicle accidents than are shot and killed during the course of a year. And it's vitally important that we learn how to safely operate those vehicles while responding to calls for service. And so we're excited about that. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility that's going to give us classrooms that we can go inside of and train. We're going to have a part of it that's going to be dedicated for K-9 training. And it's not just going to be for Newcastle County. We are going to open it up to all first responders here in the state of Delaware because, as I said, there's not any place that we can go. We've always been nomads. You know, we went to the old GM plant for a number of years. We went to Dover Downs for a number of years. We went up to the old racetrack on Brandywine racetrack up off of Namath Road for a number of years. So now, you know, with this, within a few years, it should be completed and we'll be able to have a home now, you know. And so we're excited about that. I think, in terms of accomplishments for all of public safety throughout this state, I think that's one of the most significant ones that I can think of in recent years.
Yeah, I think that's actually an amazing opportunity. I can't wait to see it when it's complete, and I'm really excited.
I am too. I will be too.
Like a really great project, with a very meaningful reason behind it, and kudos to you and Senator Coons, Carper, and Rochester, and County Executive Matt Meyer for putting something together like that and keeping both our first responders safe and keeping them well equipped and trained to handle what I would call it, evolving problems in our society. And that's pretty awesome. No, just wrap up. Is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers or those looking for a career in public service?
Well, as I said earlier, what I would say is we welcome you to join Newcastle County Department of Public Safety. I think that if you have a desire to help the community, to help others, to be involved and to make a difference, please consider Newcastle County Department of Public Safety, whether it be with emergency communications, emergency management, the Division of Emergency Medical Services, paramedics, or the Division of Police. Please feel free to go to our website, take a look, and apply. And we would certainly like to walk you through the process, and if you qualify, we'd love to have you on board.
Absolutely. Now we have a parting gift for you from the Delaware Military Academy class of 2022.
Oh,
A challenge coin.
thank you, sir.
From DMA. We appreciate everything you do for Delaware Military Academy because we always have county police coming to our school either for our forensic classes and all that stuff. So or just chilling out and saying hi to people. I remember one time there was like 6 police cars down at the bottom of the hill, and I walked down there and I was kind of nervous because they were all like SUVs, and I walked over and I was like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they were like, "We're just here. We like you guys a lot. We're just here on lunch. It's really quiet here." And they just they do stuff like that, and like you don't see it often. So we appreciate everything you guys do for Delaware Military Academy, and as an alumni, I love saying that. I look forward to seeing Newcastle County do more with DMA.
Yes, well, I can tell you, you guys have. I have the utmost respect for DMA. I look at where DMA was when it first started to see where it is now, and the growth and the success of that. It has to be commended. You're turning out great young people. I believe we have a few young people that went to DMA that are currently on the police department. And, I tell you, we enjoy every event that we get invited to. We make sure that we send and have a representation there because you guys mean that much to us. And congratulations on your graduation. I'm very proud of you, young man. I know that it hasn't always been easy, but you have continued to stay the course, and it's paying off. And now, looking forward to that next chapter in your life and Morehouse, and that's going to be exciting.
Well, I hope so.
It's going to be exciting.
I couldn't have got there without you, and that's definitely a sentiment I can give you. I couldn't have got there without you. Your mentorship and all that's been a huge blessing in my life, so I appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome.
Again, thanks for watching Career Connection Chats. I hope you learned something great. I hope you learned something you want to teach other people. And if you want to be on our show, please email us at careerconnectionchats@gmail.com. And if you want to ask our guest speaker your own questions, please email at the email posted below. To see more, please visit our YouTube channel and share what you've learned.